So we are with Mrs. Mary Bahati. Karibu sana. Pastor
Asante.
Also, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's good to have you.
It's good to be here. It's good. I'm one of your greatest fans.
Oh.
Yes, I love Tukuza.
Amen.
Yeah.
And we thank God that today you're here.
Yes.
Sharing together with your testimony together, pamoja na sisi. I think we'll go straight ahead to introducing yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
My name is Mrs. Bahati, or if you like, Pastor Mary Bahati.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've been married to one very special man called Bishop Ben Bahati for the last 21 years.
No way.
Yes, seriously.
Ken, unamini your story? You've been married for 21
years. Yes, our first daughter is actually 20 years now. She's a young lady.
That's your daughter?
Yes, from right here. Yeah, and the second one is doing Form 4. The first one is in the university. She's in Daystar.
Wow.
Yeah, the second one is doing Form 4 this year. And then the baby, the full stop, as you call it.
Yes.
Yeah, she's 9 years.
9 years old.
Yeah.
Amen. God has blessed you.
Yes.
I think a number of our girls need to say this. And we emulate, because you don't look like you've been married for 21 years.
Oh, that's so gracious
So
of
it's
you.
that's God's grace that has sustained you to this point.
The grace.
Amen.
Yeah,
And we
the
thank
grace.
God for you. When did you meet with Bishop Ben Bahati?
Well, we met back in the 90s, the early 90s. I actually grew up in the slums of Mathare. That's where I was born, and that's where I grew up.
Anakaa kweli it was slums.
Tunafeel hizo testimonies tuko cheated kiasi.
Wow.
Seriously, yes. Tulikuwa tunaishi Bonde, as we called it, Mathare Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we met. And then, one thing led to the other.
Yes.
And then back in 93, we had our beautiful wedding right there at the Redeemed Gospel Church.
Wow. When
Yes.
was it? What was he doing then?
He was actually a simple evangelist, very, very simple, from the slums. So he used to go to the industrial area with, he had an accordion then.
Oh.
And he could go there early in the morning. He used to be one of those street preachers. So he could go there and preach to people as they are going to work, early in the morning. And so I had decided that I don't want to be married. But I don't know what happened. So I see this young man coming to visit in our church. I used to fellowship in one of the small churches in Mathare.
Yes.
Yeah, so and he started, saying some things. Yeah, and kidogo I started liking him. Yeah.
And finally you got married to this preacher man with an accordion.
With an accordion.
A street preacher.
Yes, he used to have one coat and one trouser that looked, it was actually a don't touch me. That trouser.
Yes, it is na hang huko, don't touch my shoe.
Exactly. Yeah, so and slowly by slowly, we started the ministry right there in the slums called Global Field Evangelism Ministry.
Wow.
Yes, and then we got into the orphanages and
slowly you've grown.
And slowly we have grown.
Today.
Yes.
Bishop is one of those guys who are renowned for doing evangelism big time. If you want to know Bishop, that's what I know.
Yes.
He has gone out there, to the slums, so the places many preachers will not get to, and just preach the gospel of Christ.
Yeah.
How has that been to you as a wife?
Oh, let me tell you, it was a big challenge because he could be taking me for a date or something, and then he sees a crowd and he's like, this is a good place to preach.
Oh my God.
Ameona huduma.
No,
And sayo tunaenda date. So and he wants to go out and preach. He's actually been known as the father of evangelism in Kenya.
That's right.
Because he's one man that goes to places where people don't want to go. To the unreached, and he's so blessed by God because he can pull up where there are no people, and all of a sudden people are coming and people want to listen, and people give their lives to Jesus. And from that I have actually seen God raising up young people from nothing to something. And it is so amazing what the man can do, because that is his calling.
True.
You can't put him in a box. He just wants to
He
go.
has to go and do this.
He has to go.
And interesting enough with the the gospel today, or rather with ministry today,
Yes.
many people have shunned, or rather shied away from doing crusades, and one-to-one, person-to-person evangelism. But this has been still burning passion in him, and he's
Yes.
gone way ahead and kept doing it again and again. And we appreciate God for that ministry in his life.
Amen.
So I think we'll go straight to what happened. Then from there we'll get to understand bits of his stories as you
Yes.
kept sharing your marriage together. But this day, you receive a call, I believe.
No, actually, I call him.
Okay, you called
Yes,
him.
I called
Tell us,
him.
what date was this?
Okay, that was on the 11th of August.
Okay.
We had good plans. And my husband wakes up in the morning. He was to pick up a document from Nakuru. And so he wakes up and tells me, honey, let me rush to Nakuru. It was around 6 in the morning. Let me rush to Nakuru to pick up this document, and then after that, I'll be back. So he prays as usual. He kisses me, and he leaves. At around 9, he calls me and tells me, baby, I'm already in Nakuru.
Wow.
But let me take breakfast first, and then I go pick up this document. And so he picks up the document, and he's on his way back at around 12 or something, and we are talking, and he's laughing, and he was in a jovial mood. And I spoke to him last at around 12:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah, so at around 1:30, I call his phone, and I wanted to know exactly where he is, and somebody else picks the phone. And I'm like, oh, can I talk to my husband?
Yes.
And
First of all, you're shocked.
Yes,
He's not
I was
speaking.
I was actually very shocked.
Yes.
And I'm like, can I talk to my husband? And then he says, no, I'm sorry, your husband can't talk to you right now. He's been involved in an accident. I'm like,
Wow.
so I mean,
where is it?
where, how, and I have all these questions. And then they tell me, I'm so sorry, it happened in Burnt Forest.
Yes.
And we are actually bringing him to the Eldoret Referral Hospital. So I'm like, it's raining in Eldoret, and I don't know what to do, because at that moment I'm thinking maybe he's dead. And I don't even know how I drove. I rushed to the Eldoret hospital. I had high heels, so I removed high heels, and I'm running, and I reached there, and after some minutes, I see them bringing him in. It
So
was
he had
a shock.
not yet arrived.
No, he had not yet arrived.
These are the
So,
Eldoret Hospital or
the
referral?
Eldoret Referral Hospital.
Okay, yes.
So I see them bringing him in. When they are removing him, I see him covered in blood. At first, I lost control, and I actually fainted. But by the grace of God, I came back, because what I saw was like, watching those horror movies. You think you're dreaming, you think it's not real.
Yes.
But here you are, and it is real.
Wow. So here
Yeah.
he is from, was it from the ambulance, from an ambulance?
No, a good Samaritan.
Okay.
When he rolled in the car.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yes.
So he is brought,
Yes, he's brought.
you faint, but then you recover again.
And then I recover.
What happens when you recover?
Okay, they take me in
Okay.
to the casualty, to see him. So I go there, he's not talking, he's just there. So they're trying to, bring him back
Resuscitate
and resuscitate him, and do first aid and all that. It was actually a shock. I'm shaking all over, and I don't know what to do. So I'm there holding his hand, and I'm praying. Yeah. So it's a shock. I was
For
in
you,
shock.
you were in shock.
I was in shock.
Wondering, I just spoke to this guy a few minutes ago.
Exactly.
What is happening?
Exactly.
So he's then wheeled into operation or something?
Yes, and then they have to do the scans,
Yes,
and see exactly what is happening. And because he was bleeding, they have to take him, to stop the bleeding. So they have to stitch, especially the head.
So what did you see exactly? Where was he wounded?
Okay, at first I saw the head because blood was flowing all over. So I saw the injury on the head. That's what I saw. Yes, that's what I see. And so they take him to the scan, and they have to do a bigger scan. And that's when they tell me, Mrs. Bahati, this is an emergency because his spine, what they call the C5 and C6, has been broken, totally damaged. So they tell me this is an emergency. We have to do something to save his life and to save the spine.
Wow. So what goes through your mind at that point?
At that point, I'm actually, I don't know what to think. You know, where sometimes you're hit with a situation and your mind goes blank.
Yes.
You don't know what to do. You don't know how to pray. You don't know whether to cry. And you're shaking all over. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do? And they tell me, just pray, Mrs. Bahati. You just pray. We'll do our best to save him. But for now, just pray.
So the scans are done. That happens. So what happens next?
So we take an ambulance to take him to another hospital. Where they do an emergency. Actually, what we did, we have very few neurosurgeons in this country.
That's right.
So in Eldoret, we look for one. And we call him. By the grace of God, up to today, I believe it was the grace of God, we get one. And so he looks at him and tells us, no, we have to take him right away. So he takes him right in to the theater to do the surgery, the operation. And then he's in there for some time with him, and after some time they bring him out. But of course he's hooked to all these things, and he's not talking at that time. So what did you hear that exactly happened later on? Did you speak to the Good Samaritan? Yes, I spoke to the Good Samaritan. He was a good man, and from Eldoret. And they tell me that nobody really knows what happens, because for him, he had picked his vehicle. He's just from the burnt forest area. So he was actually going to, to fuel his car. And so when he's coming, he's following this car. And then nobody knows what happened, because they saw the car dancing, swerving on the road. And all of a sudden, it starts rolling. So they stop. And they saw when after the car starts rolling, they see somebody thrown out. At first they thought it was a bag. But they realized it was a person thrown out. And it was raining a little bit. And so when they stop, and then the car rolls, and then the person is thrown out, they rushed where the person was thrown. It was in a bush. So the car
went to a different direction?
Yes, actually, Anthony, I believe it was God, because that car could have fallen on top of him. So it fell just near him, but not on top of him.
Because he was thrown.
Yes, he was thrown. And it was a bushy area, so they had to go looking
where this person has been
thrown. This person was thrown. And so they reached him. He was unconscious. And so they tried to do a little first aid that they know. and they opened he had a jacket and his shirt. So the rain, rained on him a little bit, and then he came back a little bit. And after that, Bishop is a bigger man. So yes, so they tried to look for men, to help carry him into this car. I really don't know how they put him in that car, because it was a smaller car. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be coming back in a short while, and we want to just understand, after all this has happened, Bishop has been taken to the surgery and is out. Is at the end, is he going to get better? And what is the situation right now? We want to understand that from Mrs. Mary Bahati, pastor